All right, all right, all right. On today's episode of the Slide Experience podcast, today we discuss why hydration in our culture is important. We talk to the first Black owned insulated water bottle brand where hydration meets culture. Please welcome my guest, owner and creator, Jairus Morrison, to the show. Hey.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for saying yes. So my first question to you, so I'm excited. I'm a water drinker. So when this actually when you said yes, I haven't actually had a soda in years. So I am a girl that actually drinks water. I hydrate. I believe in the whole, making sure that my body is my temple. Yes, I can lose a few pounds, but water is my thing. I had to have
Mhm,
a surgery years ago, like 12th grade going into freshman year of college. So
mhm.
I haven't had an actual soda since then. So I am
Oh,
very
wow.
excited about hearing what you have and what your message. So, but before we get into too much about me, so tell me why, tell me a little bit more about your story before supplement.
Yeah. So, prior to supplement, just the traditional route, went to college trying to figure out, what I wanted to do. I never really had like a particular thing I wanted to do growing up. I just knew I was good at sales and I wanted to, have my own business in some way. So it took a while for me to kind of like figure out what I was going to do. I mean, I sold cars. Um, I sold, short sales, tried to do the real estate thing. Then I got into sales with a real big medical sale company. And that's when I started to learn like the back end inner workings of like how to get product, how to white label it, how to get like a team to like push it. So my background was always in sales, but when it comes to the health and wellness space, I mean, it's just been something that's always plagued like my family and probably majority of all the listeners if you grew up in like an urban community or like, you black or whatever, like a lot of times in our culture, like we don't really make health and wellness that much of a priority. Like a lot of us, are plagued with like high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease and a lot of things. People think those things run in your family, but it's really just the habits that run in your family. We all do the same thing that we see our parents do. If you don't see your parents work out, you don't see them drink water. 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to be that motivated to do that. So I wanted to create something that not only could like service the urban community also, but like something that could kind of change the view of the overall demographic. Like, yo, if I can push this, I can create an overall healthier demographic. So
Yeah, I
quick
like
little
that. Yeah,
backstory.
trying to get our people to actually jump on board on something that's good for them.
Right.
It can be
It's a
hard.
very difficult task.
Yeah, it
Very
definitely
difficult.
is. And you made a very valid point regarding the health issues in our community and things like that. So, and as parents, as the first influencer in our family is usually us to our kids. So it
Right.
is very imperative that we invite them into a healthy space when it comes down to even just information and then what we're eating and putting in our body. So you made a valid point
Exactly.
there. So what I mean, so I'm hearing the motivation behind it. So why water bottles though? Like,
Right. So I started trying to figure out like what kind of item I could actually like get into and create. So when I did that, I got on the app. It's called Jungle Scouts. All a part of the story where it shows you the top selling items on Amazon. And there I saw that in like the houseware department, I saw that there was a brand that was selling like 40,000 units a month. And then the brand was Hydro Flask, and I was like, oh wow, I've never heard of this brand. And I actually before prior to that, I've never used a insulated water bottle. This is back in like 2016. You about to say something?
no, go ahead, go ahead. No,
I
I'm
don't
listening.
know. So prior to that, I've never used the insulated water bottle. So I had no clue, the technology of 24 hours cold, 12 hours hot, stuff like that. So I was interested. I was just like, how is a brand selling this many units and it's in stores? But like, yeah, I never heard of them. So that's when I decided to, just do some more research, go to their websites, go to their social medias, and then I realized that they just weren't marketing like intentionally to the urban demographic. Like it was just seeing, hiking, just like surfing, just doing like a lot of things that like didn't resonate with me and didn't make me feel like, okay, like
Yeah.
they like if I searched this, it wouldn't pull up in my algorithm at all. So I was just like, man. So I started to search around like, yo, is there any other like is there any brand that's like gearing their product toward us? And there wasn't. So to me, like a light bulb went off. I'm like, okay, let me like try to figure out what I could do with these insulated bottles. So I ended up doing a traditional route. What a lot of people do is you hit Alibaba, you like, oh, let me search like insulated bottles. And I searched it and I had got like a knockoff hydro flask. And I slapped some logos. I ordered maybe like 100 bottles, got them shipped over here. And then at first I just started giving them away to like different people that I know. And then people were just like reaching out to me like, yo, man, I left this bottle in my car and the ice just stayed cold the entire time. Like is this new technology? Like, how did you create this? You got a patent for this? I'm like, bro, I didn't create this, it's been out for years. Like you just haven't been marketed to. And then at that moment, that's when I realized that like, yo, like I really have something. So I ran a little campaign. I actually sold a bunch of them too, maybe like close to like 80 to 90 of those bottles I probably sold. And then people were just like, reaching out to me, just giving like, oh man, this is cool. But then I was like, I can't, if I were to blow this up, I won't be able to like, I'll probably get sued because this isn't my design. So
Mhm.
so from there, that's when I decided to like take it more seriously and kind of like draft up what Supplement was going to be.
So how long have you been in business?
So I started the first mock-up, the first like knockoff bottle in 2018, and then I got the supplement bottle was created in 2020.
Okay, so not that long ago.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I thought I saw. I was like, I just wanted to make sure. So full-fledged in business for almost 4 years now.
Yeah, so this will be so 2020. The reason why I wouldn't really count that year is because it was the heart of COVID, and that's when I was getting the bottles designed. So that was just like the process of like coming up with a name, working with industrial designers to like actually create the product. You know what I mean? Actually like try to create the texture and the lids and like all the like different call outs and stuff like that. So that year was primarily was specifically for like design and then like trying to create like a marketing plan, like how we're going to market this to the people. So 2021 is when I like started to actually sell the water bottles.
Okay. So you brought up the actual the design and the name. So let's talk about the name. So I know as a business owner, sometimes we can get so caught up in trying to make our name, our business stand out and we try to think
Yeah.
about that one thing. So what did the name supplement? How did you come up with that?
So it's a funny thing, man. I actually had to come up with that. I had to come up with that name in like 24 hours, really, because our original name was going to be Antidote, because our whole
Okay.
thing was our yeah, yeah. So our whole thing was going to be was like we was going to be the antidote to the urban community as far as like the coach is not drinking water, so like we're going to be like that brand that like gets people to drink water. So but when I did a patent, I did a trademark search with my lawyer. It turns out that big brand called Camelback, I don't know if you ever heard of them, but they're a massive brand. They own the trademark to antidote when it comes to water bottles. So
Oh, okay.
if I would have went with that, then we would have got sued. But my bottles were already in production, but they didn't put the name on the bottles yet. So but my manufacturer's like, yo, we need like you're not using antidote, but we need a name like tomorrow, like or we won't be able to get these bottles printed. So so really and I do think the name sometimes people can say it's not as important, but it all depends on if it's like mission type company or like I just think it, you know, once you have that name and it's yours and you got to run with it. So even if like a year from later you don't like it, um, it kind of be your own fault because
Yeah.
because you rushed the name. But so for supplement, I was trying to figure out like how could I tie in our mission, but like still make it look cool like on a bottle or if we ever throw it on a t-shirt. Um, so I was telling you, it was just a long day of just throwing names out. It's probably the hardest thing ever is coming up with like coming up with a name. But so water is the body's most important supplement. So that's how I actually came up with the name. After doing all this, I won't bore you with how I got there, but like it took a while. But I got to like, what's the body's most important supplement? I'm just like, oh, what out of this phrase can I use as a name? And that's how we landed on supplement. I just took out some of the letters so that way I could, after I did my trademark search, I could own it. So,
I like
and
it.
another cool thing, another like thing I would say too is being able to have your I could have the tag for Instagram. I had that. So that was available. Plus the website URL with that spelling was available. So like I was able to own the name, plus I could have the Instagram, and I could have the URL. So to me that was highly important that everything was like consistent. So I didn't have to do like supplement '01 or you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So everything fell in line, so it just made it perfect. That's good. So
right.
that means it was meant for you. That's good. That's good. I like it.
Exactly.
I mean, when it came down to um the logo and then the creativity of the top and everything, I don't know if I can
Hmm.
say that. You thought it through. So I know that. So tell me the story about the bottom of your.
Yeah, so the whole bottle is I wanted it to resonate with the culture. So like we put so I'll start with the lid. So it's the blocks logo. So this represents like the city streets that everybody grew up on, and like bringing us all together for one common goal, which is hydration, which is who we are, supplement. And
Yeah.
then if you look closely, we put like a good texture on the lid,
Mm-hmm.
kind of represents the streets. And one thing that everybody in the culture kind of resonates with is sneaker culture. So we put shoestring carrying loops as our accessory. This is the interchangeable thing that you have on yours right now that makes that
Yeah.
allows you to customize your bottle. And then the bottom of the bottle is actually a replica of a Jordan 1. So it's like a sneaker boot, but it's also for you know, it's a no slip. You can put it on glass tables, you don't get that clinkety clink, all that good stuff. So so yeah, it was pretty much all in the design just to create those elements to make it more of like a premium experience all
I
around.
like I like the way your mind thinks. I really do. But so I have a segment called Money Business, and so I'm gonna have to get into your money business. So you've been in business basically 4 years, but technically three. So that's a bold move. I know you used the word. What was the word you used when you basically starting back in 2018? Knockoff, was that what the word you used?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
But what
Right.
made you think that you can actually make this work when you have the Yetis and the Stanleys out there? Because that industry market, they've been in business for decades, it's not centuries at this point. So how did you know I have the confidence to say, I'm gonna find my space and I'm gonna make this work or it's gonna work? Like, how did what
So so I'll say this. I'll say so when it's when you think about it, there's so many. I keep referring to stuff back to sneakers because it's just like you got Adidas, you got Reebok, you got Converse, you got uh, you know, uh, you think it's like a ton of brands. You got Hoka, you got Asics, you got there's so many brands that just that they're all doing the same thing essentially, but they all have their different approach to it. But the one thing about supplement is that the other brands aren't doing is they're not like intentionally promoting their brand to the urban community like at all. So of course if you were to search it right now, you're going to get targeted with an ad of some like black lady on a boat rowing in the middle of the ocean for for a Yeti ad. But like when
right.
you see that, you're gonna be like, I ain't gonna be out there rowing a boat. So it's not gonna really resonate with you. So it's just one of those things where I just felt like it was a blue ocean as far as my target audience, and like a lot of people still that was probably one of my biggest struggles is getting the urban community to even want to use an insulated bottle because they just grew up never using it, grew up never seeing their parents use it. So it's like it's one of those things you don't know you need it until you get one and you're on the beach and it's burning up hot outside and you
Right.
got your ice in your cup and it's but every time you take a sip it's refreshing, it's nothing's melting. And you're like, oh man. And then now all of a sudden you're using it every day. You coming
Yeah.
back to me buying a couple more colors. So it was like, but I do think that it's just having that confidence just in yourself. Because trust me, raising money and stuff like that, I've heard so many no's. I've heard so many people be like, "Oh, why would you want to do bottles? It's stupid." And it's just like if you don't, you just gotta believe it in yourself because it's honestly, it's just like it's so many things that could stir you or steer you in the other direction to the point you like you don't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
even sales in the beginning, like they're extremely slow. You know what I mean? Where you don't even like you're like, oh, this is not working. But then you get that random customer that's like, yo, I love this bottle. And then it gives you that fire again to be like, to keep it going. So that's kind of what kept me going in the very beginning.
Yeah, you mentioned two things that I want to touch base on, and so the first thing was the plastic. So because the plastic is so toxic, right? It's
Mhm.
not good for us. So I don't think our that the human race understand the how toxicity is real because these bottles sit in the heat. They're sitting in the back of a 18 wheeler. They're being delivered. You don't know where how long it's been, and that
Yep.
actually goes into the water that we're drinking and consuming. And so
Yeah.
I know for me, I don't drink water out of a faucet. I don't know because when I depending on where you are, from what state, from state to state, you just don't want to drink the water out of the faucet. Two, there's a certain smells or certain certain things. So
Oh yeah. I'm just getting trying.
yeah, where are you located right now?
I'm in Jersey.
Okay, so you understand where I'm talking.
Right, right. Yeah, the water's nasty.
Yeah, it's so I mean, unfortunately, we gravitate to just by picking up about we're paying for water, I don't think that we should ever have to pay for water, but it is what it is if you wanted to make sure it's
Right.
clean. But a lot of it isn't like 100% like what they say on the bottle anyway. So I do agree with you on that. But the thing that you said was making money, deciding to stick with something. So did you see a profit your first year? Outside of the
Uh
2020? Like, how long did it take you to actually see?
no. So honestly, in a product game, you really like you're really not making any money in the beginning because there's so much stuff that costs. Like you got tooling costs. Every like anything that you see on a counter in the store they had to pay tooling for it to create it like a bunch of times.
Mhm.
So like tooling costs be like 20,000, 30,000. So it's just like half the time you're just trying to recoup like what you're putting out, especially if you're doing marketing. So like in the beginning, we were selling bottles, but it wasn't like I wouldn't say I was turning a profit. I wasn't really turning a profit until I started doing the customization portion of the business. Because where I saw there was a pain point in that industry as well as that people that were getting custom bottles, um, they weren't happy with the product because a lot of these businesses and schools, they have like a it's pretty much like an Alibaba, but for schools where or for businesses where they can go and they can pick the cheapest bottle to create swag gifts and give to their employees. And employees never like the gifts; they always like end up throwing it out or whatever. So it's just like also large. Most of these companies have like really large order minimums. So like people will have to order 1,000 units. Even though like they only have 200 employees, they might have to order 1,000 units just to fulfill the order. And then
Yeah.
the next pain point is time of production. People like a lot of times these companies give you like a 2 to 3 month like production time to get products to them. So I was just like, okay, I can get product done. If I find a finishing partner here in the States, I can get product done way quicker. My order minimums can be way lower. So I was just hitting all the pain points, and then I got my first wholesale customer that ended up being like a $60,000 deal off one order. So from there, that's when I was just like, okay, I don't like right now. I don't like the regular sale of the bottles on the website uh don't really mean much when I can just like sell 3,000 of them in one order. So
Right.
so I was thinking instead of raising money, I could just grow that portion of the business so that way that will just funnel into me doing like the fun stuff like creating content, getting new colors, getting new sizes, stuff like that. It's a slower game, but we were able to turn a good profit doing it that way.
So you basically made 60,000 in your first year, or that you've been because because in business I do know that you like you stated there's a cost to everything.
Right.
So did you just recoup?
So 2021 was pretty much all of that, just kind of recouping. And then at the end of the years when I got that first that first big deal.
You got
So
your
that's
million
pretty much, I
dollars?
mean, no, I will, yeah, this year, but like, but we started to recoup then. So
Okay.
then, and then 2022, I was able to like, I was able to like make it a real program because when I got the first order, I had to create everything. I had to create because I was doing it on the fly. Like when I got approached, I'm like, they're like, oh, so like I had to create a catalog, create a pricing sheet. Like I was doing all this stuff on the fly. You know what I mean? Like even the whole process of getting it done, like it was just like I was just creating everything as I went. So then 2022, I was able to like fine tune it more. And but we didn't have enough inventory, so I had to raise a little bit more capital so I can have, the inventory to even fulfill multiple opportunities here in the States. So so I would say that first order kind of trickled into 2022, and then I had to like actually build a team, build the process more, so that way 2023, which was our which was last year, which was our biggest year for wholesale. Now I have an extremely streamlined process. We worked with so many big brands, Adobe, Google, Nike, Adidas. Like I've done so many of these different collaborations, and they trust us. They come back to us multiple times. So
Ah, I like
that's where
it.
we
So
are.
you actually, that was one of my questions, is like, where do you, um are you actually reaching out to like the biggest brands, and because considering that you only can make so much money when you try to focus on just the consumer, the individual, because the money
Right.
is in the corporation. So for sure, even for in the field that I'm in, is like corporate clients and corporate, leadership development and business strategies. We focus on corporations because we know that we'll
Right.
be able to make more money up that way. So you actually produce your bottles here in the States, you stated? So you don't do anything
I
else?
do, I do customization here in the States,
Okay.
but my
Okay.
bottles are from overseas.
Okay. And so I don't know if you want, if I can answer this question, you can answer this question, but as far as the cost per for your production and per bottle, like what is your ROI on that? Like, because I know on your
Um,
website.
it's it's healthy. It's healthy. It's good.
Okay.
It's good. It's good. It all depends on the customer and the quantity. Of course, higher quantities gives a lot better pricing. But like we're able to give customers a way better cost than what they're getting for a higher quality product.
So you're
So
charged. So one bottle right now, is it $30? Depending on, so just your
uh
plain without the customization or something like that, is it about
yeah,
30?
yeah, yeah. So the regular lid is 28 and the straw lid is 34.
Okay. And you have a new brand that you actually just introduced as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, the 48-ounce
Yeah.
bottles. Is you have people that's like, oh, I want to drink more water. Like this is not enough because you get those gym buffs. It's like, oh, this is not enough water. So then we wanted to make sure we created that big one. But we also have a coffee one, and our next one we're gonna come out one is one that can like, I mean, our bottles do fit in a cup holder, but that sometimes people have like maybe like BMWs or Lexuses and stuff like that where the cup holders are smaller, and that's where the Stanleys of the world fit in. So we are in the process of designing and creating that next bottle that's like more fits in the cup holder.
Cool.
So
So I know my very first podcast, I started my first episode in 2020 as well. And I reached out to someone that I knew, and they connected me with a very well known coach. He was coaching at the time with the Dallas Cowboys. Now he's with Buffalo. And so he was my very first one. And I was like, didn't
mhm.
know what to do. Cameras all jacked up, everything like that. So when you say creative, I love what you stated as far as like create as you go, because sometimes when you're starting you don't have it all figured out, because it's like,
Right,
as long as you're in the momentum and you're doing the thing, you now you know, oh, I gotta have this thing. So now you
right.
have to create the thing for you, basically customize it for your client, but at the same time you didn't know what you didn't know, and that you needed it until they actually say this is what I need. So that's
Yeah,
in business.
that's a huge thing for me, and I think that's probably the biggest hindrance for most people in entrepreneurship is they feel like I gotta have this, I gotta do this, but it's like honestly, you just gotta get started. If you don't get started, they like yeah, like you pretty much gotta learn as you go. You know what I mean? You're gonna make the mistakes in the very beginning, but eventually you're gonna streamline that thing. So now that thing is streamlined, but like in the beginning, I was just like, oh, all right, I got to do that better next time. I have to. But if I didn't start, I probably wouldn't even be talking to you right now.
Well, so that
Seriously,
was
if
the
I
thing.
was waiting, I wouldn't have started.
I mean, because you had to find that motivation. Like, I mean, even as an entrepreneur, as a CEO of my business, it's like you have to keep. We have to be motivated to continue to do the thing because you don't have people around you all the time. It is a solo thing in the beginning, so you have to find
Mhm.
your peace and I guess your purpose in it. So I wanted to ask you. So, did you have Oh, what was the question I wanted to ask you about? Is are you still private or are you going public? What do you want to, what's the plan there?
Nah, we're probably pretty far from going public. We're right now just everything's just private. I'm just trying to really build the core, get more SKUs together. And then I'm primarily focused on like just growing the audience and the audience and like the following of the brand. Right now we got like almost 13,000 on Instagram, but we coming out with more unique ways to market, more unique ways to like build a community, while trying to keep the corporate side of the business going strong. Corporate side of business actually it keeps the lights on. That's what keeps everything going. So it's something that I focus probably 60% of my time, and I could focus like 40% of my time on like social and trying to like get that part going. But like I said, it's a small team, so just like we're just trying to hack away at it as we can.
Yeah.
It's a slow grind, but it's one of those things that once same thing that happened with Stanley. Like they were doing 70 million a year for years, for like a decade, like decades, and then they changed their marketing to start targeting nurses and teachers, and then they end up doing 750 million in 12 months off those Stanley Cups, which is
Ooh.
insane. So it's just one of those things that you really don't know when it's going to hit. But like, Jay-Z's using our bottle now. Like it's certain people that like, it's starting to get the traction, but it's like slow and steady, and we just got to be ready for when it does happen. So right now, of course, I don't have no plans to go, public or anything like that. I plan to just kind of keep it in house, try to work with certain people that that can add some value to the business. I'm always down to hear what they got to say to see, but I might raise money soon. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, are you looking for an investor? Considering you say you didn't do any, you didn't have an investor. You basically did everything on the fly. And so, I
Well,
mean,
we had investors in the very beginning, but like it was more so, it was like a VC firm that helped get me started. I got the funding to like get the tooling done, get the first like groups of bottles and stuff like that, and then the business ends up start to pay for itself. But like now, I actually potentially am going to be looking for investors just to kind of like really accelerate the growth, because the growth is there. We're scaling, but it's like it could be a lot faster with some more capital.
I might have a name for you or two, actually. Yeah, I based off of what you shared, I definitely know two strong CEOs that you may want to speak to. So I'll share that information with you. Um, but yeah, I really like it. I've enjoyed this episode and learning. But my whole thing is like, what's next outside? So are we gonna stick with the bottles? You said you're gonna continue to grow the business. How
Hmm.
big is your team? You said your team is small. Are you hiring? Are you looking for
Uh,
more people or what?
it's me and just two other people, honestly, right now. Because like I said, I streamlined it, so like my shipping is all done at a location. My customization is all done at a location. So I pretty much work primarily from my laptop. Like I don't actually physically have to touch the bottles right now. So, but yeah, I'm always looking for, I'm trying to figure out when it comes to like just more so on the marketing side, like um SEO, just like so much different like little small things that we gotta fine tune on our process to get more visibility. Because that's really what it is with us. It's more of a visibility thing. Because like once people get it, they buy like 5 times. You know what I mean? The product is great, but it's just like how do I get more people to see it and to understand who we are and to discover us. So that's what comes with even like just further in our line. We got the 24 ounce, we got 48 ounce, we got a 20-ounce tumbler. We're gonna come out with the next one that fits into a cup holder. Then we'll probably rock out with those for a bit, but of course we'll jump into coolers. Pretty much anything that has to do with like insulation. We'll probably model our company similar to like what Yeti has done. So
Yeah,
it's a beautiful model. They're killing it. They like they're I think they did like $7.1 billion last year or something like that, and they only got like I think like 300 employees. It's not even a lot, so they're killing it. So like it's just one of those things where what you stick to what we're doing. It's just so many people in the world. If we only sold you know 20,000 bottles, 30,000 bottles, is like we're not even at the tip of the iceberg. We're like this
yeah,
big
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, I'm excited for you because, like you said, visibility is everything. Marketing, of course, and then just getting the name out there. I'm very proud of you. I really like what you're doing, and the fact that you're a visionary, and that you're taking it. I know that it's going to, and business it comes in increments, right? It's like the
Right,
elevation is it takes sometimes it just as long as you're consistent in doing the thing, sometimes all it takes is that one. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
I do see that happening for you. I fully support your company, your brand. I like what you're doing. Um, and not to say bias, but because it's for our culture and for your people.
Right, right.
But again, somebody that's ordinary, that's doing extraordinary things in the community. That's what my podcast is about. So uh,
Hmm.
I'm really behind you on that. So where can my listeners find you, and if someone wants to, I noticed that on your website there's an affiliate link and all those things, so if they want to get tapped in, where can they go?
So they can go to first, if there was something like immediate, they could always DM the page supplement at supplement SUPLMNT. But we're the same thing on a website, supplement.com. At the bottom, if you want uh, corporate orders or anything like that, you scroll all the way to the bottom. There's like a bulk ordering option where you can go and check it out. If you want to get in contact directly with me, you can shoot me an email, Jairus, Jairus at supplement.com. And I'm pretty responsive. So
Oh, so
reach
lucky
out.
me. I'm glad look, I got the CEO today, right? 2024. So in the next 5 years, you may not actually get him. So you wait and see. You laugh, but it's one of those things to where you right now you have the autonomy to do things like this and get on podcasts and
Right,
do it. But eventually when your team grows and your mindset changes and the conversations start to happen with different people, you talking about the money and the investment piece,
right,
you won't be so available.
right. Oh, it's
So
true. It's true.
yes, so
I'll try
I'm
to get as many of these in as possible though, because I love it. I love to try and document what's going on. You know what I mean? Like what stage I'm at. Because I'll come back and watch this thing in 5 years and be like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
yeah. So thank you once again for saying yes. So this has been another great episode of the Sly Ed Experience podcast, where successors lead you through education and determination, and ordinary people are doing extraordinary things in the community. I am your host, your girl, Latasha Sly, and until next time, be safe. Let's